Triple E EDC back again with another knife video. This is the Tuyaknife Hive 2. This is a knife that's actually really impressed me, and I'm going to tell you why. First of all, I do have to tell you that this was given to me at a slight discount by Dave Warren, who's the distributor for Tuyaknife in the US, and as a result, you know, I'm not going to let that influence my review. I am going to give it a positive review overall. I just want to give you that disclaimer so you guys know, but that doesn't affect my review at all. This is a really great knife. I'm gonna go into detail and tell you why, and you guys know that I'm always honest with you with these knives. So let's go ahead and talk about that. Let's do some size comparisons first. We got the Bugout and the mini Bugout here. We got the 945 and the 940. You guys can see this is not a small knife. Actually pretty well sized. This is the Para 3 and Paramilitary 2. And this is the Tuyaknife Envy, which is another option from Tuyaknife. And this is the ZT-0562, which is the Thai version, which is a competitive option in this price range. This is a modified version, by the way. Okay, so first things first, why do I like this knife so much? Well, let me get into the good right away here. And one of the great things about this, probably the best thing about this, is the action. This is just such silky smooth drop shot action here. Very, very silky smooth. If you're depressing the bar, it comes right down. And if you're not depressing the bar and it's rubbing up against it, it is still so silky smooth. It is unbelievable how good this action is for the price. Next, the price. The price on this is $258. It's a lot of money for a knife. It really is. And a lot of people don't like to stretch the budget that far. And I didn't want to stretch the budget that far, frankly, for a brand that, in my eyes, before I had this in my hands, was unproven. And this is 100% surpassed all my expectations on build quality. So I have absolutely no problem spending this type of money with this brand again. Tuyaknife, I'm very, very impressed, not just with the action, but with the build quality. You got M390 blade, you got the titanium handles here, you got carbon fiber inserts, multiple carbon fiber inserts over here. You've got large hardware here that you don't have to worry about T6 or anything like that. Very, very nice. You got an out-of-the-way lanyard hole, which is great on this. The pocket clip is a very, very nice pocket clip. Works great for a milled titanium pocket clip. This actually doesn't stick too much out of your pocket. You can really see that the only amount that sticks out of your pocket is from here back. Really not bad at all. The blade on here, by the way, is it is fullered, and you can Spidey flick it out, which is quite nice. So if you're a big fan of the Spidey flick, you can do it. It is definitely easier, by the way, with your rear finger, your ring finger, than your middle finger, but you can do the flick with both fingers, both your ring and your middle finger, and it's quite nice to be able to do that as well, to improve on the fidget factor, which is already very, very high. All right, next we'll go ahead and talk about the ergonomics on this. The ergonomics on this are really good. I'm going to go ahead and put it at about an 8, 8.5. The only thing that would make it better, I think, is if this was contoured. So it is flat. But yeah, the ergonomics on this are very nice. So very, very happy with that. The blade shape on this is nice, and I'm going to go ahead and put this in the good but not great category. Is the blade shape. It is actually quite an interesting blade shape because it has very little flat. It's mostly all belly, but despite the all belly, it's still a tanto. So it has that defined, defined area over here, and it comes into slightly different. They're both flat grinds, but it comes into a sort of a slightly different flat grind over here where the tanto is, which gives it a different profile. So all that is the good. And by the way, one of the good things also is Dave Warren. He does an excellent job. Any support you need from Tuyaknife or anything, you talk to Dave Warren, he'll try to take care of you. And he's been an excellent rep for them. So I see what he does on Facebook and on social media, and just in talking to him, great guy. So that's another thing as well. let's go ahead and talk about the bad on this knife. The bad is really a little bit of the blade shape because it is a little bit thick. This is not a thin stock, so let's go ahead and compare that to the Bugout. Right, you can see it's much thicker than the Bugout. Let's compare that to the Para 3, right? So it's about, I would say, it's a little bit thicker than the Para 3, slightly thicker than the Para 3. But not by much. But the difference is it's thick all the way through with a very, very fine taper at the end, whereas the Para 3 and the Paramilitary 2, for that matter, are going to taper off entirely the entire way to a point here. The difference is that the behind the edge thickness on the Paramilitary series is going to be a lot thinner than this. So the behind the edge thickness on this is not super thin. And you can see that right here is where you're taking a thick stock and coming to, pretty quickly to a point over here. And so this is not necessarily a cardboard eater. That's just one of the things that you have to know when you get this. Also, one of the defining features of the Tanto is a penetrating tip. This is not, for a Tanto blade, this is not really a penetrating tip. It's located high off the knife. And, the taper here is not it doesn't come to as sharp a point, but it does have plenty of reinforcement back here because of that, taper right at the end. So I think that's another thing to note as well. One thing that I also didn't like was the fact that on the back side here, there was not really a continuation of the carbon fiber pattern here, where you have some carbon fiber here, you have, some no carbon fiber inlays on some of this, and then on the back you have just the pivot and no actual carbon fiber here. Probably would have been nice to maybe fill the middle two here with some carbon fiber inserts, but that is what it is. So those are the main issues that I have with it. This is quite a nice knife overall. Very, very happy with it. And by the way, I just kicked that one out by accident. The detail on it is a little bit soft, I would say. A little bit softer than I would like, but plenty adequate. You're not going to misfire it or anything if you're not being, if you're not doing it on purpose. If you're doing it on purpose, yeah, you can misfire it, but every time you're not doing it on purpose, you're going to be able to get it out pretty much every time without problem. So what are my overall recommendations on this knife? Yeah, I can definitely recommend this knife. If you're asking me whether this should be your one and only EDC, I'm going to say no, just because the blade, for my one and only EDC, I would want something that just has a blade I'm going to use in a whole bunch of different circumstances. This, I think, is more like, someone who wants to carry a thicker knife with maybe a little bit of a smaller profile overall, and some really, really, really nice action. So if that's what you're looking for in a knife, this is a great option. I mean, it's an absolute great option. Two things that I'll mention with that. One is the ZTO 562. So this is a little bit better of a slicer than this one is, and this is a sort of a competitive option in the price range. It also has excellent ergonomics, titanium construction. This is American made, whereas obviously this is not. This is, I believe, from China. That's not to say that it's bad. It's just, like I said, the build quality is excellent on it, but this is American made for around the same price. And this is, by the way, a modified version. Like I said, the hardware is a little bit different. The bearings are different. But you also get excellent action on this as well. Another competitive option here is going to be the Tuyaknife within its own family is going to be the Tuyaknife Envy. Now, I will tell you right off the bat, and you're going to see a video going up of this shortly, I do prefer the Envy over the Hive. The main reason I prefer the Envy is, well, one reason is it's just a better EDC option, number one. Number two, the grind on this is excellent. It's got a hollow grind here, comes to a nice thin edge, and it is very, very slicey. The finish on it is quite nice, and the action is just as silky smooth. I'd say maybe it's a hair, a touch less silky smooth than this. This one is a little bit silkier, but what you lose in that, you gain a lot of other things. A little bit better ergonomics, that excellent grind right there that you see, that compound grind, a more usable tip here, and just a great cutting blade that you can choke up on. Doesn't really have a choil, but you can choke up on it no problem. Whereas over here on this one, there's no real, you can't really choke up without being right on the blade. So those are just a couple options. I'm loving Tuyaknife so far. I've had the I forgot the Talisman. That's right. I had the Tuyaknife Talisman, from their budget line. I really like that one a lot. I thought that was great. Obviously, I did that in a giveaway a while ago, and this one is excellent as well. And then this one's going to be a keeper. I'm probably not going to hang on to this one. I've already got a potential sale in the works, but this one I'm going to hang on to. They're both great options, and I would recommend either one of these. Like I said, I'll do the separate video on this. So hope this was helpful for you guys. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you get all my content. Go ahead and also hit the like button and drop a comment below. Thank you guys for watching. Appreciate every one of you. Thank you.